Thank you all for coming. My name is Callan Clark. Not only am I an archaeology steward, I am also president of the Concho Valley Archaeological Society. And I'm just going to do a quick plug here. Tomorrow night, 6:30, another steward will be presenting a talk to the Concho Valley Archaeological Society, and his talk will be about cabeza de vaca. So before I begin my presentation, can everybody hear me? A lot of what I'm going to say to you today came directly out of the Steward's Handbook and also the Texas Historical Commission public outreach material. So what I'm telling you is not new or exciting. In Texas, there are as many as 1 million archaeological sites. The traces of at least 12,000 years of human occupation. Our understanding of this period relies mainly on the careful interpretation of material remains left behind by the first Texans. Archaeological investigation also enable us to clarify important aspects of recent Texas history. The responsibility for a public archaeology program dedicated to understanding, preserving, and interpreting the vast archaeological landscape of the state, covering 268,597 square miles in 254 counties, falls largely to the Texas Historical Commission, the state agency for historic preservation. The Texas Historical Commission is a relatively small agency with a small number of staff archaeologists. While the staff are dedicated and capable, they need help in tackling this huge job. The effectiveness of the THC's public archaeology program has benefited greatly from the assistance provided by the Texas Archaeological Stewardship Network members. Founded in 1984, the Stewardship Network is a group of highly trained and motivated avocational archaeologists who work on a volunteer basis. These stewards play a critical role in bringing public archaeology to life in their own communities. Each year, these women and men devote thousands of hours to a broad range of tasks, such as assisting landowners, recording archaeological sites, and giving public talks. Their efforts in preservation, education, and research are an essential part of the Texas Historical Commission statewide program. The Texas Archaeological Stewardship Network is one of the most innovative and successful programs of its kind in the nation and has served as the model for similar programs in other states. In 2010, the Texas Archaeological Stewardship Network was named an official Preserve America Steward, a designation program that recognizes volunteer programs that are committed to the preservation of the nation's cultural heritage. And as you can see here, this year, the network is celebrating 40 years. Above is the mission statement. The TASN seeks to preserve, educate, and contribute to our knowledge of Texas's archaeological and historic heritage. The network consists of a select group of experienced and capable avocational archaeologists and public historians who work on a volunteer basis. And here are some of the goals of the TASN in coordination with the Texas Historical Commission. Record new sites, provide public education and outreach, monitor known sites, mentor and motivate youth, seek protective designation and easement for important sites, assist in cultural resource projects, record private artifact collections, contribute to THC or other publications, carry out emergency or salvage archaeology as directed by Archaeology Division archaeologists of the THC, complete and submit semi-annual reports, and serve as a local resource on historical and archaeological matters. Between 2017 and 2019, a series of events led to the capture and prosecution and criminal charges of artifact looters in Central Texas, which set precedent in Texas courts for prosecution of looters who destroyed and damaged an archaeological site on private property. Pictured here is Steve Stoudemire, archaeology steward, presenting the details of the case where looters were successfully prosecuted for destroying and damaging an archaeological site on private property. And I won't go into all of the details about the case, but if you want to learn more, you can go and find and download the Stewards newsletter. But I will tell you that I think there were two individuals that were, one, trespassing, obviously, and they were destroying this archaeological site for the artifacts. And what they were doing with the artifacts is they were selling them for drug money. So you can see this unique and first-time use of the criminal mischief law in a looter case on private land now gives law enforcement officers, district attorneys, and landowners the impetus to catch, seek prosecution, and indict convict looters with felony penalties, and will hopefully deter future looting within the state of Texas. Here is Rick and Susan Day. They're both school teachers up near Turkey, Texas. And Rick is also an archaeology steward. And how many of y'all subscribe to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Division magazine? Do y'all remember reading anything about a bison jump? Well, so Rick and Susan, both school teachers, were out at Caprock Canyon State Park, and they were scouting some areas in the park for a field trip for their gifted, intelligent students. And they noticed some bone eroding at the base of, I think it's a 30-foot cliff. And what they found was bison bone, which turns out to be only the second recorded bison jump in the state of Texas. So, and if you want to learn more about this site and meet Rick and Susan, shake their hand, give them a big hug. This Saturday, the Southwest Federation of Archaeological Societies is hosting a symposium. I believe it's in this building this Saturday. And the principal investigator of the bison jump, Dr. Gus Costa, is the banquet speaker. So, and the symposium on Saturday is free to the public. It's all day. Yes, ma'am. I'm sure some of you know who this gentleman is. Larry Remmenschneider. Larry has been a steward for over 30 years now. Been president of the Concho Valley Archaeological Society for a number of years. He is also the reason why I got into archaeology and why I am a steward. So, and I first met Larry while he was the principal investigator at the archaeological investigations out at Fort Chaburn, and back in 2002 is when I first met him. In July 1991, Charles Anderson, who was a speaker a couple of weeks ago, noticed that construction workers had uncovered several rails and railroad-related items while clearing the lot where Oakencamp's heating and supply had previously been located. So hours of combing through piles of dirt turned up artifacts that were related to the steam locomotive era. Anderson realized he would need someone with experience in archaeology to help him properly investigate and document this site, so he contacted Larry. And they went out and they found the roundhouse, which turns out that Charles Anderson's grandfather worked at back in 1912. And currently this site sits under a parking lot in a medical building. So it's preserved for in the future whenever they do demolish the building and rip out the parking lot, the site is still there for a professional and qualified archaeologist to study the site. So parts of it is preserved. Larry also discovered the 1889 Concho Valley Fairgrounds and Racetrack. The exact location was thought to have been lost due to progress. And in 2016, Larry got the Tankersley Homestead site designated a state archaeological landmark and will forever receive legal protection under the Antiquities Code of Texas. As Larry put it so eloquently, a stone building that at one time nearly met the fate of demolition by a bulldozer today is protected as an SAL. So, and another project that Larry did that was recent is the West Texas Bombardier Conwrangle bombing ranges. So, during World War II, bombardier schools for the sole purpose of training cadets of the Army Air Force were established at Midland, San Angelo, Big Spring, and Childress. The Army Air Force Corps of Engineers constructed bombing ranges that were used for training purposes. 71 of these bombing ranges were located on Google Earth and recorded with the Texas Archaeological Research Laboratory. Prior to the recording, there was no record of these ranges in any site database, which contributed to their ongoing destruction. Y'all remember the big oil boom between 2013 and 2019? That's what kind of got Larry started on recording these sites before they were lost forever. This site here, I think, is in Crockett County, and it shows a ship, crosshair, and dock. And here's a Google Earth imagery of a storage tank, a storage depot bombing target, and taken in 2004. And during the big oil boom, that site was destroyed. This is what it looks like back in 2018. So if it wasn't for Larry, that site, we would never have known that site was there.
So these were discovered from the air?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. In fact, Bill Yates, I don't know if y'all knew him. He was he liked to fly planes as a hobby. He noticed these on the air and first researched them, and then and wrote an article in the Southwest Federation of Archaeological Societies. But then in 2013, when the oil boom happened, a lot of these sites were being destroyed, and that's what prompted Larry to get all of these sites what were left recorded, photographed. Yep. But I think Bill Yates took hundreds of aerial photographs of all of these targets. So there's one in Sterling County, one in west of here, I think in the little panhandle of Tom Green County, and there's several in Reagan and Arion and Upton County.
What's the deal about 208?
208. I'm not familiar with that.
They haven't had that stuff.
No.
There's one way, there's places where concrete pads, trying to planes down, whole strip.
So, interesting. So what can stewards do for you? So each steward brings unique talents and strengths to the TASN program. Some stewards involve themselves in a broad range of activities, while others concentrate on one or two areas. Everything they do benefits Texans because they are preserving our archaeological heritage. Stewards can also provide one-on-one assistance, such as recording new sites. Stewards identify and record new archaeological sites and place the data in the state inventory, providing a permanent record of the Texas past. These records are also helpful to other researchers and are also useful in identifying sites that may be threatened by planned development. Site recording on private property does not affect the landowner's property rights in any way. In fact, I've heard this, and I've made this point before too, that having sites recorded on your land actually better protects your land from development. There's one case, this is an Angelo landowner. She got this letter from this energy company saying that they were going to lay a pipeline right through the middle of her property, and she was upset over that because she didn't want them to destroy any of the sites on her place, and also ruin her arrowhead hunting. So, but luckily, since those sites on her property were recorded, the developers saw that and they diverted the pipeline to run somewhere else. Unfortunately, I think it's running through another person's property that doesn't have any sites recorded. Monitoring known sites. Stewards monitor archaeological site preserves, state archaeological landmarks, National Register sites, and sites on public lands that are protected by law. Sites on private land are monitored only with the permission of the landowner. Recording private collections. Private artifact collections can reveal a wealth of important insights about the prehistory or history of an area if a collector can provide details about the location and circumstances of the discoveries. Stewards document significant private collections and submit the data to the THC so that others can use these records for research. Recording private collections does not threaten ownership of a particular collection. However, stewards can help place a collection in a qualified archaeological repository or museum for protection and study. Providing local programs, stewards promote awareness of archaeology by assisting regional museums with their archaeological exhibits and giving talks to local schools and groups. So just to quickly recap, the state of Texas probably contains more than 1 million archaeological sites left behind by at least 12,000 years of human occupation. Nearly 95% of this period stretches beyond the scope of written history. Everything we know about the prehistoric peoples is derived from the material remains left behind the archaeological record, and from our careful interpretation of those remains. Archaeology is not only concerned with prehistory, though. Most of our state's historic events, everything from pivotal battles to the building of a simple wattle and daub Hakala structure 100 years ago to the construction of World War II bombing targets, have also left behind material clues to the past. Through study of that material record, we can verify or question historical accounts. Material remains also provides us with the opportunity to gain new information not included in written histories. Thus, the study of archaeology and the protection of archaeological sites are in the interest of all people who call themselves Texans, a name that is itself derived from the prehistoric past and one of our state's great native peoples, the Caddo. The archaeological record is a laboratory in which we discover and understand the past And as laboratories go, the one called Texas is huge. The Texas Historical Commission is responsible for the public archaeology program that is dedicated to understanding, preserving, and interpreting this vast archaeological landscape, but with a small team of archaeologists, they need help with tackling this huge job. Working alongside THC staff, members of the Texas Archaeological Stewardship Network serve a critical role in bringing public archaeology to life in their own communities. Thank you.